Hello, my name is Stu Henschel from the Alternative Kitchen. Today we're going to be cooking in my kitchen here in Guildford. Not so sunny today, so everyone's inside. I have spent the morning homeschooling my two kids and I think I deserve something quite nice for lunch. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to show you how to make some bean-based bangers, really wicked little sausages, which you can use in any sort of pastry sort of sausage dish, or in a hot pot, or you can just have them with mash, or you can have it, as we're going to have it, in a wicked sandwich. And we're also going to make a garlic aioli using some of the bean juice that we have left over. And yeah, we better get started. I know some of you have already got your ingredients, but I might just show you the board quickly so you can see what I'm going to be using to check you've got some stuff, or so you know what it looks like if you don't know already, and that sort of thing. So let me just free you from here and chuck you over here. So we're going to start over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off with some onions, garlic, mushrooms, pepper. We've got some sun-dried tomatoes, we've also got some paprika, we've got some fennel seed, we've got some oregano and some sage. Now, I know if you've already got the recipe, it's just the oregano, but you can chuck any dried herbs that you like. I wanted these to be particularly herby, so that's what we've got. Okay, and then over on this side, we've got some black lentils. Again, this is a sub, so instead of the black beans, which were in the initial recipe, I'm using black lentils. This is all I could get. And we have to roll with that, don't we, at the moment? So that's what we're doing. And you can use and replace any of these pulses here, apart from these bad boys, chickpeas. Okay, so these guys are super useful, and we definitely needed those. Okay, I've also got some balsamic vinegar, some nooch. We've got some tomato puree. I've added a bit of miso here. You don't have to. That's just how I'm rolling. And then here we have my salt substitute here. This is my shroom boon, which is on my Instagram, which is at the Alt Kitchen. Okay, I'm the Alternative Kitchen, the Alt Kitchen. So you could just use salt. I'll talk about this in a minute. Okay, so we're gonna chuck you back, and then we're gonna get cooking. Okay, so everyone make sure you've got nice clean hand. Did mine just before then, so mine are clean. And we're gonna start with our onions. Right, so just gonna use half an onion. And I'm going to talk you through how I cut an onion, because I think it's a pretty good way to get like nice fine dicing. If you want to know a bit about sort of onion skills and knife skills, this is quite useful. So all I've done, I'll show you from the beginning. Hold on. So take your whole onion, and you're going to go from the top to the root. Okay, right down the centre. And you have two halves. Whoop. Just that one. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the top off this. Like that, okay. And then when you've taken the top off, you can then peel it much easier. Okay, now, depending on how old the onion is how many layers you have to do. This looks like it's pretty good. So I'm just going to have to get rid of this very top layer here, okay? Right, so I'm taking that guy off there. Right, now, it's the fun bit. What you're going to do is, along your onion, you're going to keep this root intact, very important. You're going to cut down straight lines like that, okay? And make sure you've got a nice sharp knife. More accidents happen with blunt knives. Okay, so hold it between your thumb and little finger. Keep these fingers nice and curved like that, and then straight down. All the way down here. Perfect. And then you're going to turn it. Okay, so I've turned it sideways now. Now, what some people say is you cut along here and you make another couple of layers here, and that's totally cool. And that's, if you go to chef school, that's what they're going to show you to do. But onions have all of these, have those 4 layers already. Well, that's not quite focusing. So we don't need to do that. I don't think we need to do that, so we're not going to. So hold it between your little finger, thumb, curl your index, middle and third finger, and then you're just going to go down. Now, I don't think by cutting in, you're going to get any thinner than that. All right? So there you go. There's your onion. So we've got a hot pan here. That's already on. Use a bit of sunflower oil. Don't use extra virgin. Don't even use virgin, okay? It doesn't have a high enough smoke point for what we're going to be cooking. A little bit more, so 2 tablespoons. Right. So I use sunflower oil instead of vegetable oil, just because I don't like the taste of vegetable oil, but you may not get on with sunflower oil. So choose an oil which has a high smoke point. Okay, right. And then we're just going to coat that in the oil and let that just do its thing and slowly start to saute. Okay. In the recipe, I think I said a red onion, they cook way quicker, so you can chuck all of it in at the same time. So if that's what you've got, get your onions in and then we'll get cracking. Okay, so things like carrots, celery and peppers all take quite a long time to cook, so you can stick those in at exactly the same time as your onions. Okay, I hate cutting peppers. For some reason that curve always does my head in, so all I tend to do is squish it down, so then it's flat, and then curly fingers, and then that's much easier to cut across. Like that, okay, bunch them up, and then you go from right to left, same deal, nice small pieces, there we go. That is going in with our onions. Okay. So this is on a medium heat, but really we're just looking for them to go translucent, so we're not wanting them to take on too much colour at the moment, while we get the rest of it in there. So, right, next, garlic. I've already peeled these because I was nervous and I thought I'd just be like fiddling with like fumbling with my fingers, so I've already peeled them. You can just stick them in there, already unpeeled, but it just makes for more of a hectic washing up experience. Okay, they're done. So our garlic's in. Now we're going to put in our sun-dried tomatoes. So with this sausage, I've upped the paprika, smoked paprika, because I'm going for that slightly Spanish chorizo flavour. So sun-dried tomatoes, paprika, you can add liquid smoke if you want, totally cool. Okay, so that's our sun-dried tomatoes in, and then our mushrooms, same deal, these have been brushed. Okay, so some people peel them, don't peel your mushrooms, life's too short. Okay, so just cut your roots, and then same thing as an onion, straight down across. Okay. So if you're trying to hide mushrooms from people, you can cut these. You can pulse these in the food processor, which is actually what I tend to normally do. I have a son who hates mushrooms, but eats so many of them that he doesn't know about, just because I pulse them and use them for my mince and things like that. Okay, that's one in. So I think I said about 25 grams. That's probably about 25 grams, but I love mushrooms. So I'm going to add in another one here. Okay, everyone following all right so far? Nice to see so many people join in. Okay, mix that all up. Great. So I think that's enough of those. Give your pan a bit of a stir. So the onions are already starting to sweat down, they're already starting to go nice and translucent, which is great. So that's all in. I'm going to keep the heat up just a little bit. So we don't want to be waiting all day for this. Okay, well we get the rest of it happening. Okay. So, in there so far, if you've just joined, and I can see people still joining, we have onions, garlic, peppers, onions, and mushrooms, sorry. And that is everything in there so far. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add in our herbs. So we've got some fennel seed, some oregano, some sage, and a tablespoon of smoked paprika. Okay. Just going to stir that round and let that just do its thing for a minute. Great. Okay. So let me get rid of this. A quick wipe down. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to move you over to here. So let's get you over there so you can see what I'm doing over here. Sorry if that's a bit jolty. Right. I'm still in. I'm still in. Perfect. Okay. So, while that's doing its thing over there, we'll get on with the pulses over on this side. So we've got chickpeas, loads of protein. Vegans get plenty of protein. And they're on the recipe. So that's a can, basically 400 grams. And then I've got some black lentils here instead of black beans. Love black beans, couldn't get them. About lentils, I could. So these are already like soaked. So your dried ones you're gonna have to soak overnight in order to be able to use them. These ones are already soaked and ready to go. So in they go. Right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna mash this down. Now we're not looking for a puree, we're just looking to break it up and not have any whole bits. So we'll just use a masher to do that. Let's see what happens with these lentils. Lentils seem to be giving up the ghost pretty quick, which is good. I'm just gonna mash that all down. Hope everyone is surviving out there. It's a bit of a shame that the weather's changed on us. It's been relatively easy, hasn't it, with the sunshine, just being able to sit in the garden and entertain the kids. If you have kids, if you're still out there working, then hats off to you. If you're frontline, then you are heroes. And if you're homeschooling your kids, you're also kind of heroes, but just in a different way. And also shout out to all the shopkeepers and everyone else keeping this thing rolling. So let's give those a bit of a stir. That's happening over there. Okay, right, so that's all mashed up. So let's show you what I've got. Still a couple of stubborn peas, but these will go if I add some of the liquids. Right, okay, so we've got a teaspoon of our balsamic vinegar here. Going with the wet stuff, so that will just help with the mixing. Right, and then I've got a tablespoon tomato paste here. I've also added in a bit of miso. So what miso does is just adds that a bit of umami, just gives that savoury taste and gives a bit more depth to what we're doing here. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. It's not on the original recipe, but it's what I fancied adding, and I saw it in the fridge and thought, why not? And you can bung most things in this. The key things in it are the chickpeas or the other pulse and the buckwheat flour and the oil from what you're cooking these vegetables in. Now, if you think about what would be in a normal vegan sausage or even a pork sausage, if you dare to think of such things, they contain quite a lot of fat, right? And at the moment, all we've got is the tablespoon or so we put in there. Now, this recipe is going to make about 8 sausages, so not bad per sausage in terms of fat. Okay, so we've got a nice little mash there. And we're going to add the final couple of things here. So we've got nutritional yeast, or nooch. So this is amazing. Comes from the making molasses process. It's like a single cell organism that grows on top of the molasses while they're making it. And that's taken off and dried. And it gives that nice cheesy thing that we all, you know, I'm preaching to the converted here. So everyone on here probably knows what nooch is, right? And then this is my salt replacement. So this here, when I say salt replacement, it's still got salt in it, but it's just got a few extra things as well. So what we've got here is salt, and we've got dried shiitake mushrooms, and then a couple of other little spices, touch of sugar. So that's all blitzed up. You can do it in a NutriBullet or some sort of high-powered blender, so you get a nice powder and you can add it to everything, and it just gives that extra depth, you know, rather than sort of tasting Marmite and everything, that you're trying to get that sort of like beefiness, or you're trying to get a little bit more meatiness to it. This does the job. Okay, so the recipe, like I say, is over on my Insta, which is at the old kitchen. I'll give these a little bit of a stir. It is happening. Right, okay, good. Right, so I'm going to chuck these in now. So obviously this is all hot stuff, but it's kind of balanced out with what we've got here. So what we'll end up with is very manageable sort of temperature to do with. And then what we've got here is I've ground up some buckwheat groats, which is a pseudo cereal, which means it doesn't grow on like an ear of, on a stem, but it's amazing stuff, gluten-free, so it's a really good replacement if you're making like pancakes or things like that. Buckwheat flour is good. It doesn't, you know, stomach can digest it nice and easily, and it's pretty cool stuff. Okay, so that's all going to go in as well, and then we're going to mix that all up. Okay. So the salt mix has the shiitake. Sorry guys, I'm talking quite fast. I'm just aware that I've got like half an hour-ish to do this, so I will try and slow down a little bit. If you do have any questions that I don't answer, just send me a DM and I will happily help you. Okay, so that's all mixed in nicely. It's not super wet, not super dry either. That's perfect. Okay, good stuff. I still see a couple of cheeky chickpeas in there, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay, good. Thanks, guys, for helping everyone else out who's asking questions and stuff while I'm rambling on here. That's really kind of you. Right, okay. So we've got a mix. Okay, so sausages typically come in some sort of casing. Okay, so they make them with other things that we don't eat over on this channel. So, but there are ones which come like vegetable casing type things, cellulose based. That's what they are, cellulose based. But we're going to avoid that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use greaseproof paper. So what you want to do is cut 8 sheets of greaseproof paper, and this is 25 centimetres by 15 centimetres roughly. That should do it with the 8, okay? So, I'm going to plonk that down in the centre, there. Good, okay. Right, so this mixture here is going to give you 8 bangers, okay? So I'm going to take, if you get all of your pieces of paper and you've got a kitchen table, lay them all out and then you can evenly do it so you end up with similar sized sausages. I'm not too worried because I'm showing you the process, and then you can carry on at home once I've gone and had a mild heart attack. Okay. So what we're doing is we have our mixture here. Loosely spread it out, okay? But this next bit's going to do that for you, okay? So about that much, okay? It looks like more than the size of the sausage because we're going to squeeze it down and make it more dense. Take this side here, okay? You can tell I misspent my youth, can't you? And then go over to this side here, so that the two ends are next to each other like that. Okay, and then push down and then pull towards you. Okay, and that's going to thicken up your mixture here and also spread it down nice and evenly. Okay, so we're down like that, like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to roll that over, keeping it nice and tight. Okay, and then you're going to twist one end, making a Christmas cracker. And as you're doing it, you can squeeze down the mixture and make it even more dense. Don't be too bullish here because you don't want it to squeeze it all out of this seam that you've got here. But it can take a fair amount. All right, now. What we're going to do now is going to give it another layer because it's going to go into a steamer, okay? So I have another, same size, roughly, kitchen foil, like that. Plonk that in the centre. Over it goes. Rolling it round, nice and tight. And turn that one. Okay. You pull that end. Okay, so there you go. 8 like that. Seem doable? Okay. Right, so 8 of those. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a steamer going. Now I've got a pot here with a steam basket like that. So you can use any old steamer. And what you're going to do is you're going to steam that for 15 minutes. And then let it cool in the steam for another 10 minutes, and then let them cool. If you don't have a steamer, what you can do is you can take this guy and go for a 3rd layer. So with the 3rd layer, what you do is you use cling film, okay? But obviously by doing this and steaming, the paper, recyclable, the foil hasn't touched anything, so it can be reused for something, or also recyclable. Cling film, not so much. So yeah, by doing it this way, we're doing something good, which we're all about here. Okay, so 8 of those, they're going to go in the steam basket. 15 minutes, 10 minutes sitting in the steam, and then they're there. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next thing. That's going to do its thing. You're going to make it the other 8. I'm not trying to fool you here. I have already steamed them because I thought I'd run out of time. And so we're going to move on to the next thing, and then I have some already made here. There we go. These guys. So this was a half recipe that I did earlier. Let's open up one of these and see if it worked. It'd be a sad time if it didn't. Okay, right, so that pulls out quite nicely, and then you're just left with the greaseproof paper here. And then when you open it up, you've got your sausage. Look at that. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so I'm going to put these to one side and then get them ready in a second, but we need some sort of sauce to go with this. So we're going to start on that. It's very simple, very easy. If you've got a stick blender, that's going to make your life a lot easier. If you're just going to do it with a whisk, then I hope you've got a good right arm. Okay. So, right. So the chickpeas are separated out into the peas themselves, and then this stuff, which I'm sure you're all pretty au fait with. So this is chickpea water or aquafaba, and the proteins from the chickpeas that they sit in the canning process leaches proteins into this liquid, which makes it able to bind and makes it able to act like an egg white. So we're going to make like a mayonnaise, garlic aioli type thing, and yeah, with this 100 mils, I've got 100 mils here. I'm going for a time and a half on the recipe. So just need stick blender, which is there. It's carnage behind me, but it's fine. So chickpea water. So here we go. Start slow. There we go. Right. What we're going to do with this, we're going to keep going until we get to maximum froth. Okay, this will just keep beating. Amazing thing about aquafaba is you can't overwork it. Whoa, okay. Okay, right. Maybe I should have doubled the recipe and then it would have been a little less sprayy. Okay, right, let me get my things for this. Over here, we have a few things to add to it. We're going to add, we've got some ACV, about a teaspoon and a half ACV. And then we're going to add in, I've got a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground mustard, there we go, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder, because we're making like an aioli, so we want it to pack a little bit of extra hum, okay? So let me just push that into here, so, okay. Right. ACV is apple cider vinegar, so there's a teaspoon of salt, what else do I add? Some garlic powder, half a teaspoon of ground mustard as well. Okay, right, now, don't be scared, this is sunflower oil, okay? Now, I'm sure you love mayonnaise, and I'm not sure you know what's in mayonnaise, but essentially it's eggs and a lot of oil. So that hasn't changed. So you can make this. This is the point where you can sub for something a little bit more healthy. So you can sub it for like avocado oil, which would obviously be the best, but obviously comes with its own issues with being from avocados. But use what you feel like. I'm using sunflower oil because I've got it and I managed to get a massive thing of it and it's working for me. Sausages are quite healthy. This not so much. It's all about balance, right? So I've got 360 mils here, but I think the recipe for the 60 mils of aquafaba is about 240 millilitres. So I'm going to get this going and hopefully it's going to stop spraying all over me and we'll start seeing some magic happening. Right, thin stream, off we go. Got to give it time. Give it time to do its thing, right? Just a thin stream. Yeah, anyone that's just joined, this will be up for 24 hours on their Instagram stories. go, it's already starting to thicken up. Now you can just have it like nice, much looser, and dial back the amount of oil. But if you want that thick mayo, you've got to go in, I'm afraid. It's the only way. It will set up a little bit more in the fridge overnight. Sorry, I'm blocking your view there. This does take a second. Right, while that's doing that, I'm going to get this pot back on. Okay, let me show you where I'm at. I've still got 150 mils left. Okay, so we're there. It's still dripping, but we're pretty close. This is going to make close on 500 mils of mayo. I mean, that colour's amazing. Look how white it is. So you can use that fabric to lighten up the sponges, use it to make some wicked chewy cookies, use it to make meringues, macarons. Shout out if you use it for anything else. I do have an apron, I've decided against it. And also I like living dangerously. This is what we're doing. I'm getting kind of happy with it. I think I might bail out slightly early on the oil. No bad thing. Okay. Right, ready? That's it there. So there's your mayo. Okay, so someone asked how long I've been doing vegan cooking. So Alternative Kitchen started in 2015, so coming up 5 years. Haven't wasted away. I still seem to be pretty healthy. In fact, I'm healthier than ever. You wouldn't believe I'm 60. I'm not 60. Okay, right. So let me just unplug that because I don't want to leave hanging around. Okay. Now this will keep for you for a good week at least. At least. Okay. I'm going to stick it in a jar and then there you go. There's your mayo. So maybe a little garlicky for people because we're going for that slightly aioli vibe, but not for me. And you don't have to worry about talking to people up close. There are positives. So you know you can let your garlic flag fly. Okay, so there we've got that. Let's get this out of the way. What we're going to do now is we're going to clean this board, get rid of that oil. I'm going to start making this bad boy. Right, okay, so this is nice and hot now. You can take like a ciabatta, that sort of thing, and I'm just going to stick it in the bottom and just let that toast up for a second. Just because I hate it when sauces and things like that leak into my bread and make it soggy. I'm not into it, so that's what we're doing. We're toasting it up. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our sausages in a second and fry those. So we're going to need a couple of those. How many should we do? Should we say 3? So those are the sausages there. Let's get these guys open and see if that was a fluke or not. There you go. So they're pretty epic looking things. You can just eat them like this, dice them up and whack them in sandwiches. You can do anything you would do with a normal sausage. The buckwheat just holds it all together. It really does. And like, you know, you don't have to worry about, oh, okay, so you subs for a load of carbs. You know, most sausages, you know, when you get, 40% of the protein or whatever, these are jam-packed with protein. These are really, really on it. Okay, so I want these to cook a bit quicker because we're running out of time. So, I'm going to take any sausage and I'm just going to slice down the centre. See, they even handle that. This guy here. Right, so these are our guys there. That's it, we've got some toasted ciabatta. Just going to keep that warm over there. I'm going to add a touch more oil. Remember, you haven't used hardly any in this whole thing, so you can allow yourself just that little bit, just because you want to just get a nice little char on there. So I might make one. There we go. I only do 4 of these bits, and then I'm going to let the pups fight over the others. Okay. Get that nice and hot. Okay, what we're going to add to this, we've got our garlic aioli, and then we have some crispy onions, slutty onions as I call them. They are awesome. And what else are we going to put in? I quickly blanched some kale as well, because why not? So we're going to build that with these guys. So while those are toasting, I forgot to add the maple syrup to the mayo. These things happen. So it's not going to be as sweet, which you can add in or not. Okay. So these are now cooking. Just going to wash my hands quickly. Okay. Right. Tricks time. You're going to take your bread, one half here. Okay. We've got our sausages here. You don't have to do this bit if you don't want to. The sliced fire life cheese I think is on par, right? So I'm going to go 2 diamonds like that. Now, the way you want to do it, you want to have a linked hand, great, and then just a splash of water. So once you're kind of feeling happy that you're cooking at the bottom here, you add your water and then put a lid over it. Now that steam is just going to drop that cheese and do something incredible. Okay, so I'm going to build this guy. This is rocky, this is going to go well. So let's take some of our mayo and I'm going to slather that on the bottom there. Remember, I didn't use that last 100 ml of oil, so I'm going a little bit heavier. It's been a tough morning. Okay, that's happened. Okay, you see that cheese through the steam? Look at that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to drop our kale on here. Nice big mound, extra iron. We are missing nothing with this meal by subbing it all and making it all vegan good. Okay, right, so that's there. I'm going to tempt these guys to prize these guys out. Okay, that's the guy. In. Okay, we're going 3. Cross like that. Oh my goodness, we're overboard. I should have seen that coming, right? Okay, so they've broken up a little bit. That doesn't matter, we're going to break them up in our mouths anyway. Okay, so let's just see if we can salvage this guy. My goodness. So I could have done with toasting them on all sides. That's what you need to do, okay? So if you toast them on all sides, you're not going to have that same issue that I just had where it just fell apart, okay? So that was just kale I put on before. I'm going to add those guys there. I'm going to get myself a clean board. Okay, and then on top, I'm going to add a little bit more of our mayo on top there, like that. And then add our crispy onions, like so. And I'm going to swap this board out, because I have made a mess. Add that, and then take that guy. There. One of those. One of those. Okay, there you have it, guys. So there we have our sausage sandwich with cheese and kale. I apologise, it fell apart at the last moment. Should have cooked it all the way around. I was in a bit of a rush. But there you go. You can make that yourself and have an amazing lunch. I'm going to clear up and eat this now, and I hope you all have an amazing lockdown, that you're getting everything that you need, and that you're staying home, you're staying safe, and that yours are all healthy and happy, and keep at it. It's working, and I might come back and do another one of these. I think that kind of worked. But see you around. Take care. Bye.